Zippity doo dah, beautiful day, great to be alive. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Chris Brown here again. So, what we've been doing here over the past few videos or so, we've been looking at different approaches to be able to create partnerships so that we can use, because these businesses have already spent money in advertising, right? They don't know any better. They've already spent this money in advertising, so we can make a partnership with these businesses and use their money so we can go ahead and get more business for ourselves, right? They're already spending this money in advertising. They're going to continue to spend this money in advertising. So we might as well help them to make more from their advertising, and by getting them to refer their customers over to us. And so over the past couple of steps, we've looked at how you can use the telephone to be able to do this. We've looked at how you can use direct mail to be able to do this. In this video, though, however, we're going to look at how to do this with Facebook. Now, the approaches that we're going to use, we're going to mostly talk about Facebook here, but the methods and the techniques that we're going to use is really going to cross over to pretty much any different social networking site, okay? And so we're going to look at a couple of things. Now, first of all, the first warning sign that I'm going to give you is the typical stuff that most people are doing. That's not what you're going to want to do, okay? And what most people are doing is they're just, when it comes down to selling their products, they're posting stuff on their wall, which is ridiculous. That's not how you get customers. That's how people think that you get customers, because they don't understand the psychology behind social networking and what that means. They'll come back up here and they'll throw a graphic or a picture or something, and it pretty much says buy my stuff. That's not the way that business is done on social networking. Look at the name, social networking. It's about talking to people, having relationships, building one-on-one relationships, and that's really what social networking is about. Of course, you can make money through posting different stuff, but the only way to be able to do that is by spending money in advertising. And we really want to try to avoid that. That's part of the reasons why you came to us, why you're customers with us, as you're part of our team or part of our organization. Is we don't want to spend money in advertising. We want to use the money other businesses are spending in advertising, and we can use that to be able to go ahead and get some more business for ourselves. So let's go ahead and get onto Facebook, and let's kind of look at some ways in which we can find different businesses to work with. So most of you will run businesses in local geographic locations. Now, some of you are running just standard internet businesses, and you can sell products and services all over the country, all over the world. But we really want to look at businesses that are in local geographic locations, you know, somewhat pretty close to us, okay? So here's what you're going to want to do, is you're going to want to come up here, okay, to where it says search. And you're going to want to type in, I've already, as you can see this, it's already in my search history. So business owners who live in Orlando. So I live in Celebration, which is just a couple of miles. I only live about 3 miles driving distance. If I was walking, it'd even be closer that way. But if you actually look at the roadways to be able to get from my front driveway all the way to Disney World, it would only be about 3 miles. Okay, and so that's the Pop Century Resort. It's only about 3 miles to me. So I live pretty much in the Orlando, Kissimmee, Celebration. There's not even enough businesses in Celebration to really do anything, to do any research here. So what you want to do is at the top here, you want to type in business owners who live in, and you want to type in the city that you live in, okay? And what's going to happen, it's going to bring up all these businesses that are in the area that you live in, right? So here's an entertainment business, a self-employed business person, that self-employed entrepreneur. I don't know what he does. Here's a lawyer, partner at Orlando Law Group. Okay, and there's a lot of different people here that have businesses. So what I'm going to do here is, what you want to do then is at the bottom here, it says search more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so I can kind of show you this list of people. Okay, and as you can see, here's a whole bunch of people that you can see. And there's real estate people, and you can just do, you know, really a lot of research and find different businesses that you could partner up with. Okay, so if you look down below, directly underneath this video, you're going to find a link, and it's going to open up a document, and this is our Facebook selling script. So you don't have to, it's basically like we're going to be basically like telemarketing over Facebook. You know, a lot of times people don't like selling, doing cold calling or anything like that, but we're going to do this on Facebook, and people maybe don't mind it, don't like it receiving phone calls, but they don't really mind having a conversation through Facebook because it's kind of like a natural state. It's kind of like email. When email first came out, anytime somebody received, even if it was spam, people were all excited. You know, AOL had this thing, you got mail, right? They even did a movie about it, and it didn't matter if they got an email about Viagra or whatever, they were excited about it. And that's the same thing that even happens with Facebook. Telemarketing has been done. People are tired of it. It's been overdone, and so some people are tired of it. Now on Facebook, it's very warm and people are inviting. But even in the telephone, because I do a lot of cold calling myself, I even recommend a lot of you to do cold calling. But the way that we approach it, it's warm and inviting, and so some people will still just get ticked off just because they have a chip on their shoulder. But because of the approach that we use, because it's so different than what anybody else is doing, they a lot of times will listen to us, and they really look forward to us, and we develop these great relationships and great friendships with you. And you know, maybe you watching this video, maybe that's how we approached you, and look at the relationship that we now have together. So you know, look at how you experienced it. You enjoyed it, and look at that. So you know, if you want to do the cold calling too, that will work too. But if not, that's okay too, because we can utilize what we can do here on Facebook. So again, there's a couple of things I want to mention before we go ahead and really get into the meat and potatoes of this all. Is first of all, as I just mentioned, if you look down below directly underneath this video, you will find a script. Okay. And this is our Facebook recruiting script. Copy and paste, copy and paste. You don't have to really do anything else but copy and paste. You don't even have to think of you don't even have to really use too much of your brain, because we've done all of this for you. Now, this method has been developed by a gentleman by the name of Max Steingart, and he really has perfected the telemarketing sales formula of Facebook. Okay, and he mostly works with a lot. He's worked with Reagan and worked with some really big corporations doing this, but he really pretty much likes working with the small guys, like what we've done here as ProStar Profits. Again, we came from a background sometimes working with billion-dollar companies, but getting a lot of money for coaching. And you know, the small guys really couldn't afford us, so we've left the corporate side of business to really work with the main street middle class businesses. And that's the same thing that Max Steingart has. He didn't really want to work with these big companies anymore. He wanted to work with individual people, helping the main street person to get out, you know, those middle class individuals, really helping them, or really working with them. So he works with a lot of people in the home-based business industry, the network marketing industry, places like that, to utilize these principles. But the principles will cross over to really any industry that you would want to work with. And so if you look down below, directly underneath this video, it's about an hour long or so. He really lays out his formula step by step on how to do this. This is more or less of a short form of the video, and I just wanted to give you some of the highlights, but I do really want to suggest you to watch his video. And when you do that, he does offer a coaching program where he will work with you, helping you to really develop this type of selling technique if you want to do something like that. And so if you want to join his program, it's only like a few $100, so really inexpensive if that is an area of your business that you would like to perfect. But if you know how to sell, If you know how to sell over the phone, you'll know how to sell over Facebook. If you know how to sell, you won't necessarily need his stuff, because it's the same stuff. Whether we're selling over the phone or in person or on Facebook, we're still selling to human beings, and the psychology of it has still not changed. So if you're in the top 20% of your business or your industry, you know how to sell, you don't need to go through his program. If you're below, I would say at least the top 30 or 40% of your industry, go through his program if Facebook is something that you want to perfect. This formula of one-on-one marketing, even though that there's a gentleman by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, okay, and he didn't necessarily go through his program, but he is utilizing this one-on-one marketing with using Facebook, building one-on-one relationships. They have a wine business in Springfield, New Jersey, and by using what we're talking about here, they built that business from a $3 million a year wine business to a $67 million a year business in a period of only a couple of years, by not blasting out your message to the masses on Facebook, but by doing one-on-one marketing. Because that's really what social media is about. It's about one-on-one marketing. So again, go ahead and check out his stuff, but let's kind of work with you here and kind of give you some of the basic fundamentals of this. And a lot of this is you're just going to do some copy and paste, okay? So let's look at Realtor at The Only Way Realty, okay? So first of all, what you want to do is you want to add some friends. So first of all, I'm going to click on here and add a friends request. Okay, am I acquaintance? I was suggested friends. I'm more or less of an acquaintance, so I would or add another list. You could also see, as you can see there's some other lists, but we're gonna go and say we're an acquaintance. Okay, and so a friend's request has been sent to him. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to send them a message. Now, in my case, I might say something a little bit different, because I came from Los Angeles and I just moved here, and somewhat recently, this year, I moved to Orlando, Florida, right? And so, I might say, hey, I'm new in town. Hey, Robert, I'm new in town. I'm also a fellow business owner. Just wanted to kind of get to know some of the people in the area, and nice to meet you, something like that. However, for most of you, you're not going to say something like that. So let's go ahead and look at our script. So as you can see, Facebook one-on-one marketing. Let's look under cold prospecting. So we want to go ahead and copy all of this stuff. Now, I don't want to copy the whole thing. I just want to copy it until it goes to the PS. Okay. And the way that we copy this video might end up being a little long. We're already at 13 minutes. It might be a half hour long or so time we get done with this. But put your cursor there. Hold down your left mouse button. Drag it all across. Okay. And once it does that, on your keyboard, you see a CTRL button. Hold down that button, and then while you're still holding down that button, press the letter C. Okay? You come back over here to Facebook, and then hold down the CTRL button, press the letter V. Okay, so you want to make some changes. So his name is Robert. Hi, Robert Brown. And then in his case, I might add a little something. My name is Chris Brown. LOL. Okay. So everything else, I'll just leave it as it is. And then again, I'll sign off at the end with, we want You want to fill in the blanks with this and put in your name. And then put Chris Brown. And then if you want to add a picture of yourself or do something like that, and then you can send your message. Okay, the message has been successfully sent. Now, do a few of those a day. Facebook is kind of funny. You don't really know how many is too many. You might start off at the beginning with 5 or 10 of them, but if you start doing too many of them, Facebook will kind of block you. So there's a way around that. So instead, what we would want to do, and I'll show you how to do this too. So let's go with Jennifer. She's a lawyer. Okay, so I'm gonna message her, and we'll wait for that to come up. Okay, I'm not gonna send her a friend's request because I'm gonna consider that I've already sent too many. Okay, but I'm gonna come back over to my message here. I'm gonna copy the same thing. And the only difference is I'm going to copy this part here at the bottom. Oops, I did something. I'm just trying to copy it. Okay, so I'm going to put my cursor there, hold down my left mouse button, drag it all across, Control C, come back over here. Okay, and then I'm going to press Control V, send out our message, and obviously I'm going to fill in the blanks, change where it says name and your name and all of that stuff, and then I would go ahead and send it, right? Now, after a person has accepted your friend's request, you're going to be notified when somebody accepts your friend's request, okay? Once somebody does that, so you'll see in your notifications, like these are people who have sent me friends requests. I have too many of them. I just ignore most of them. And yeah, I've got so many friends on Facebook. That's not necessarily a popular thing. It's just that, you know, you want relationships, and some of the people on Facebook are sending you friend requests just to be cool. And they say, hey, I got 5,000 friends. So you want real relationships, real business partnerships. So once somebody says, I'll accept one of these, okay? Let's just say Judith, you got 7 mutual friends. I have no idea who any of those people are, but let's just say, here's one, Ben. I got 86 of those. Tim Niles. Doesn't even look like I know any of those people either. But I'll go ahead and just, I'll confirm. Okay? And so once somebody accepts your friend's request, you're going to be notified. Okay? And then what you'll do, okay, and then you'll see this little message. Oh, he's accepted my friend's request. I now want to send him a message. Okay? And here's how I would do that. Ben, let's come over here. Now, when somebody, after they accept your request, so now I'm going to copy this, Control and then the letter C, come back over here. Let me adjust the screen so you can see the whole thing. Okay. So then I would come over here and press the letter V. And I would say, hi, Ben. Nice to have you as a friend on Facebook. What you up to these days? And then I would send him that message. And then sometime later he's going to respond back to me. Okay, now let's talk about renewing some old relationships. Now, so at this part of everything that we're looking at, we're just talking about starting the beginning process of developing a relationship. Sales is about trust. You know, you don't go in and you don't marry somebody right away. The first date you have, you generally don't say, "Hey, will you marry me?" Right? This sales and dating is pretty much just the same thing. You have to go through the same process and the same steps. Everybody wants to marry their first customers as soon as they get them, but there's no customer loyalty in there. There's no loyalty to that. If they buy from you right away, they'll also cancel with you right away and go to somebody else. If they take a little bit of time to work with you, you know that they're going to be with you for a long future ahead of you. Okay, so let's go ahead and so these are other people who are on my Facebook page, and some of them I know, some of them I have relationships, and some of them I don't know. So another thing that I try to do, and I haven't been doing this for a long time, but only over the last couple days have I started doing this. And here's these people who have been my friends for a while, but I don't really know them. Okay, so let's go with Leo. Okay, and so what I would do in his case, so I'll come back over here, and these are old friends. So these are people who, and I don't mean actual real friends of yours, these are just friends that you have on Facebook. And so again, you put in their name, so I'm going to control and copy. Come back over here to Facebook. And then I'll paste that. Now, as you can see, I've already been having a relationship with Leo, as you can see by the conversation. But I would go, "Hi, Leo. It's nice to connect with you here. I've renewed many old friendships and have made some incredible new ones on here. What you up to these days?" Okay, and then I would send that out, and a conversation is going to start to ensue. Okay, just like what you see that I've actually really done with Leo. Now, what's going to happen is you want to ask these people. You might want to put this in your own words and say this however you want to say this, but there's a few questions that you now want to ask these business owners. Okay, what do you do? What does that entail? How long have you done it? What did you do before? And what's your biggest business challenge? Now, also you want to share this with them. So there's two main things that we're going to do here. So let's go back with Leo. Let me open up Leo's page again. Okay, so here's Leo. And okay, and so let's say that Leo says in one way or another, not enough customers. Okay, and so if Leo is saying he doesn't have enough customers, what you want to do is copy this message here. And I'm going to come back over here and paste that and send that off to him. Okay? And you know, there's a video in there too that it directs them to, and then it's going to direct them back to you, you know, if they want to take the next step. Okay, that's if they don't have enough customers, and that's really a big problem for most businesses. You know, they don't have enough customers, or they're going through a feast or famine mentality. Again, it's going to depend on the type of business that they're in. Okay, now the next thing is, if they might say in one way or another, financial issues, but really what financial issues means is they don't not enough money. That's really what they're saying. And the reason that they don't have enough money is that they're not making enough per customers. So they might have too many customers, but the main problem is I don't have enough money. Okay, so if that is the case, what you want to do is you want to copy the second message over to them. And we'll come back over here. And send that message off to them. So all of these messages, right, they're getting them, we're developing this relationship, which is, and showing them really what we're doing. So again, what we're doing here is these messages that we've already created for you is creating, so we're approaching these businesses and we're showing them how if they take their customers, their customer base, refer their customers over to us, we're going to help them to solve their problems. Now it's going to solve our problems too, because we're now going to have more customers to work with, right? We now have more customers solved our problems, and now it fixed their problems as well. Okay, so again, if you have any questions on this, we're pretty much laid everything out in details for you. But if you'd like more details on this, please do get in contact with us. But even before we do that, I want you to go ahead and look at the video down below directly underneath this video. It's an hour-long webinar, and it really explains the psychology of how to sell on Facebook. I'm sure after you watch this video on Facebook, I'm sure you're seeing that selling on Facebook is completely different than the way that you thought it would be. You know, because most people treat Facebook like the TV. You know, TV, there's a thing called the TV industrial complex, and that's from the 1960, probably somewhere in around about the range of the 1950s and on till about 2008. Okay, and that's where we blast out a message to the masses. After 2008, it shifted, and so our communication shifted to what our grandparents were doing, and sometimes our great grandparents were doing during the 1940s. Okay, so the way that you become successful on Facebook is by utilizing the type of marketing messages that were used from about the actually even before that, somewhere in about the 1890s, all the way to approximately the late 1940s, early 1950s. Okay, so again, you'll find all the resources down below directly underneath this video, and so again, go ahead and check those out. Use the resources down below directly underneath this video, and if you still have any questions about this, please do get in contact with us. But I really want to refer you off to Max Steingart, because he's really the expert for this type of selling. Sure, I've done it. I've made, you know, I've closed, what is it, I think I've closed like a $3,000 or $4,000 sale just off of doing this through Facebook. So you can make some big sales off of this, you know, one-on-one marketing through Facebook. But you know, I know a little bit about it, but really the ultimate expert on this is Max Steingart. So you might want to go ahead and check out the video down below directly underneath this video, and then you can also check out his program and get started with that. Okay, but take care everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye now.